I've already made my money back 3 to 4 times on this experience, and it's been less than a year now. Do you know anyone in your life who sits on their hands with things? They've maybe got some great ideas where they just kind of seem to jump from idea to idea to idea, and they just never execute on anything. Do you know of anybody like that? What about someone in your life who just refuses to ask for help in their endeavors, in their projects, in improving themselves? Someone who spends just countless hours toiling away at something and would never in a million years read a blog post or pick up a book on someone who's already done it this way. Do you really think you're the first person to encounter the problems that you're encountering? For me, this idea to launch an educational company for chefs, and it wasn't even a company back then. I just wanted an educational product for chefs and hospitality folks. I found myself falling into some of these negative patterns. I would procrastinate. I would ruminate on the idea. I would create these excuses for why I couldn't do it right now, or now's not a good time. Those were things that I would tell myself. And then ultimately I was scrolling Twitter and I saw a tweet from this gentleman, Yusuf, who I was following because he is a frequent guest on a podcast called Modern Wisdom that I listen to, and they do a whole life hack series. It's a really great kind of series if you ever want to check that out. He tweeted that he's giving free advice to coaches who want to go full-time with their work. I was like, huh. So I looked at this guy's handle and I was like, let's see what this guy has to offer. I can take him up on it, and I've said it multiple times on this show before. I'm a big fan of taking things from other industries and adopting them for yourself, because chances are the problems that other people are experiencing, the lessons there can also be applied to what you're doing. So I was like, well, let's take this guy up on it. So I hop on a call. I shared a little bit about what I'm about, and they basically told me about their program through their company, Propane Business. But there was a huge roadblock. And this is kind of problem number one. The price for the program was more than anything that I had ever paid for in an online course capacity. And I was like, oh, I don't need that. I can do it on my own. This idea of putting stakes around whatever it is you're trying to do or a habit that you're trying to build. So if you want to stop eating McDonald's and you tell yourself, okay, Justin, starting tomorrow, no more McDonald's. How well does that work? For those that are immensely intrinsically motivated, and I looked at this investment into this program in the same way. If I spend to enroll in this, that's a lot of money for me. And I'm really going to have to commit to this. It's almost like it became this positive wind at my back. You got to show return on investment of this. Spend. And my competitive juices just started oozing, right? I haven't had this educational moment where I have, a teacher mentor who I paid for their, expertise, and I get some, not necessarily assignments, but it's like there's an opportunity to over deliver to this person and almost impress them. And I was like, I want to destroy this after, kind of coming to terms with that way of looking at this program. Before investing heavily in stocks or real estate or crypto, what you should do is you should ruthlessly invest in acquiring skills. Because the more skills you have, the more your earning potential increases. And that makes it possible for you to see higher income amounts, which then you can invest in much larger deposits if you're looking to grow your net worth over time. These new skills might be video editing, food photography, writing, website design. And sure, I'm going to be in the hole a little bit because I'm going to have to spend money to acquire these skills. But now I can take this information and these learnings and these developments that I've had in myself, and instead of just being where I'm at now, I'm going to have more to offer to my next client, to my next set of customers, to my next employer. And all of a sudden that first sale happens. All of a sudden that first client books. All of a sudden the first post on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube really gets some views and starts to get some traction. And now has feedback to work with on this skill because they've actually put it to work in the market. Now they can iterate, now they can grow, now they can improve on that skill because they just got started and they spent the time. This idea of paying for someone to teach you something is literally buying time. It's the closest we can get to buying time. And everybody says time is the more valuable than money. And so therefore, this is actually the most valuable spend of your time, of your money that you can make. If someone's done the work of taking 5 years of knowledge It took them 5 years to acquire and distill this information, and they've packaged 5 years into a 1-month program for you. You've technically just bought 4 years and 11 months worth of time. And even if you don't believe that math, I think you can at least agree that it's faster than trying to figure it out on your own. And so I took both of these mental models, stakes and paying to acquire skills. And I said, yes, I'm going to invest into this. That's where the Demi Skills course, Genesis, came from. And ultimately that developed into Total Station Domination. And then ultimately the entire company of Repertoire came from this experience. I got real examples of how to set up this type of business from front to back. I learned how to find clients and customers and ultimately over-deliver to those customers without scammy sales tactics, without, growth hacky marketer style talk, just real time-tested, just put in the boring work type of advice. And again, this was like in line with how I wanted to do it. And so that's another reason why I decided to say yes to this. There's a million ways to grow your business, but you have to find one that you can reflect your values onto, and things actually end up giving you positive feedback from there. But the most important part for me, I was accountable to Yusuf for this entire process. I booked in, as I, enrolled in this program, I booked in a package that had extra calls with Yusuf because I'm self-aware enough to know that I wanted to have that little voice in the back of my head which would say, don't make this a waste. Show up to these calls with real shit to get feedback on. Take this orange and squeeze every last drop of juice out of it because you have this person's time. And when you hop on a coaching call, you need to over-index on getting the benefits from this experience. Almost be annoying with the amount of questions that you're asking and the amount of progress that you're able to show to this person. And so the long story short is I've already made my money back. That's kind of the punchline. 3 to 4 times on this experience. And it's been less than a year now, I think, coming up on, actually developing products and having them out in the market. And I literally got the clarity to, again, launch Repertoire as a business on the back of this relatively small investment into my own skills and asking for help from a professional coach. So I couldn't be a bigger proponent of it. I think a lot of us, me included, see coaching or masterminds as this like money suck or this Ponzi scheme, which, don't get me wrong, there's no shortage of slimy snake oil people out there on the internet. The internet has made it easier than ever to kind of take advantage of people or fake it till you make it kind of folks or flex in the wrong way. But the idea that in the core of this is if you find someone who has done what you're trying to do, I'm here to tell you that it's completely worth it to try to get the information extracted from them and then put it to work yourself. That's the other kind of important caveat with all of this. I didn't just take the course and, again, continue to sit on my hands. I wrote the course. I published the thing. I made it for sale. I charged people money. And in fact, I think you can argue that you're actually holding yourself back if you don't take advantage of people who are sharing their knowledge. Because remember, person A, who thinks they're A-okay, is probably going to be at the exact same place in 18 months. Because again, they're saying it. I'm fine. I don't need to experience anything more. I'm totally cool. Where person B is going to start to hit exponential growth in their progress somewhere around that time, or if not now, very soon in the future. Just because person B was willing to invest in themselves and put real stakes around change in their life. So the last point from me, if you want to get in touch with the Propane business, guys, this is not sponsored. I get no kickback from this, but links are in the description. Even if you don't work with them in a professional capacity, their free content is both super valuable and also hilarious at times. As I said, I love their sense of humor. And if you're into nutrition, fitness, sleep, meditation, online productivity, you should absolutely give them a follow. All right, that's it from me. Let's talk to Johnny and Yusuf.